What's up, guys? It's me again. We're working on the camper tonight. It's supposed to get down to 24 degrees. It's our first real night that it's got below 32 degrees for any significant length of time. So every time it starts to get cold in winter, you have to winterize your camper every year. Just one of those beautiful parts of owning a camper. When we first got a camper, we followed all the stuff online. We put that pink crap in all of our water stuff, and then you would go camping. And it'd be May or June, you've been camping for months, and you just randomly open a spigot and have pink crap come out of the faucet. And I just said, no, I'm not doing this anymore. I found a lot of people online that said, just blow out your lines with air. All of the lines throughout your camper are, they're poly. They don't have like PVC water lines like campers used to, I guess, like 30, 40 years ago. So there's no need, like they're really resistant to freezing and bursting anyway. And on top of that, what you do is you hook an air source into your water inlet. I'm going to show you how to do that real quick because a couple people in forums have asked me more information about this. So I'll just go over it real quick. All right, so this is our city water inlet on this camper. And I always use this right angle T just to prevent strain on this joint. I use that all the time, so I just leave it on here even when we're driving. But this is the adapter that you're going to use. It threads into your garden hose adapter. And then this is a quick release for an air chuck, and this is my air line coming off my air compressor at my shop. So I regulate it back. Some people online say you can use 60 or 70 psi. I always regulate it back to about 30 or 40 because I don't want to risk the pressure blowing on the air lines. That would be counterproductive. But you hook it up, you adjust your regulator down to 30 or 40 psi, and then you start with all your drains and your faucets and you blow all the water out. All right, so this is what your adapter looks like. On one end it has male garden hose thread, so it'll thread into your city water. On the other end, it has a 1/4 inch quick release, which will fit in your standard air compressor quick release. So if you have a compressor and air source, which you have to do this, you just quick release that in, screw that into your city water, and then adapt it down to 30 to 40 psi. This is the passenger side of our camper, which is a Wolfpack 25 Pack 12. In front of, this is the passenger side tire. In front of this, you have these two PEX lines that come down, and these are your low water drain points. So with regulated air inside this, you turn these open, and you'll just, I'm just turning that off so you can hear me. You'll let those go until no more water comes out. And what I find helps is if you turn them off, then turn them back on again, you usually get like kind of another burst of water. So I'll do that. I go ahead and start with my low drains. I drain all of them. This is some of that stuff hanging down. I haven't fixed it yet from that blowout we had this summer. I have the materials to fix it. Maybe that'll be another video. But I'll go and do the low point drains, and then I go inside. So there's two competing schools of thought. Some people say to start with the furthest drain, which for us would be the shower. Some people say to start with the closest drain to where the water inlet is, which would be our kitchen sink. I've tried it both ways. I haven't noticed much difference, but you'll open your faucets. I've already done these. You're not going to get a ton out. It may run for a second or two. And then close them again, let them open again, and you may get a little more. You're never going to get all the water out of those lines doing it that way, and that's why people argue that you need to put the pink stuff in, the antifreeze, RV antifreeze. But the reality is, I'm going to try and turn this around without making y'all dizzy. The reality is that if all you've got left in your lines is that little dribble of water, it's not going to be enough to expand and crack any of your water lines. I mean, if you think about this, yes, water drains to the low point, but if there's only a drop of water in here, when it expands, it's got room, it's got air inside this to expand. It's unlikely to break this. It's really only when this is full of a significant portion of water that it's going to be able to expand and crack. So I've been doing this on this camper for 3 years now, and it gets very cold here in West Virginia, and we have yet to experience a single water line failure. Knock on wood grain. But I'm going to go through and we're going to finish up doing this to this camper. It's actually getting cold very fast tonight, and I noticed as I was getting in, the water was starting to freeze on the bottom. So the kitchen sink, I mean, I've already gone around and done all this. I'm gonna hit the low. So I go through and do all my drains and go through and do all my water outlets inside the camper. Don't forget your shower outside. Then when you're done, you come back through and hit your low point drains once again to make sure all the water comes out. So one more part of winterizing your camper. This is your anode or your drain plug. They're different in every water heater. Some may just have a tab you can pull on this to drain. It'll look like this. And this would depressurize. You can hear it hissing. That will depressurize it, but it won't drain it because that's at the top. To drain it, you're going to have a drain plug or an anode down here at the bottom. So this is what your anode is going to look like. Depending on the quality of water where you live, it's going to be more or less deteriorated. They need replaced every few years as a side note. And whenever you put these back in, next time you go camping, you want to make sure that you have good Teflon tape on it so it seals up, because that will be under pressure. Now, there's still some water left in here. As I mentioned earlier with these things, there's lots of room in there now for that to expand. That is normally under pressure because it is a water heater, so it's not going to be super damaged by expansion unless it's all the way full and cracks and splits the metal open. It's designed to handle pressure. And you can either leave this out, or as soon as I shut the air off, I'm going to go ahead and put this back in. I'll put it back in because I don't want to leave a hole here for critters and stuff to get in. So one thing you don't want to forget to do is to bleed off your outdoor shower if you've been using it. You can see it's still full of water. So you do your hot, do your cold, get a little more water that way. And each time you close them and reopen them, you'll probably have a little more burst of water. I don't worry a ton about this. I mostly just want to get the water out of the pipes that are inside. These lines right here, they don't really crack even if they freeze in them. And if they did, these lines are like $1 or $2 at Home Depot to unscrew right here with your hands. It's very easy to do. So this is the infamous pink stuff. This is RV and Marine antifreeze. It's anti-toxic, safe down to negative 50 degrees, won't freeze. I wouldn't drink it. I don't use it. We used to get a pump it throughout the camper. In our old camper, we had a bypass kit, so we could use a water pump to do it. But nowadays, the only places I use it is just in my traps. And I'll just pour enough in to fill the trap, force some of that water down into the tanks. A little bit of water in your tanks isn't a big deal because it has room to expand. But you want to keep this seal. It has to be kept wet or it can dry out in your toilet. So pour a little over that seal. You don't really have to displace all of the water in your traps with this, because with a negative 50 degree freeze point, if it dilutes the water that's in there, you're going to be good down to like, 0 degrees, negative 10 degrees, negative 15 degrees. If you live somewhere really far north where it is very cold for extended periods of time, this may not work for you. But we live in West Virginia. It works great for us. It has worked. We've been through a couple bitterly cold winters and had, like I said, knock on wood grain. We had no problems with this. And the beauty of this is if we were to go camp tomorrow, we don't have to drain any pink stuff out. We don't have to flip any handles. We just hook back up to the water and everything's ready to go. The pink stuff is all in the drains where we don't have to see it or smell it or touch it. It just flushes down into the tanks once we start using our water. And this thing is ready to go for another camping trip. So, all right, guys, all finished up with this thing. We got all of the traps filled with pink stuff. We got all the lines blown out with our air. And it's ready for the 28 degree forecast tonight and whatever else the winter brings until the next time we go camping. Hopefully it's not our last trip of the year, but who knows the way this winter's going. I have a roof to repair since we're back here at the house. I have the sealant ordered. I have a fender well that needs patched after our blowout. So I'm sure there'll be at least a couple more camping videos before the end of the year. Once again, thank you for watching my videos. If this video helps you out, then like it. If it's something you think your friends might like, feel free to share it. And if you want to see more videos about campers or me working on trucks or motorcycles or boats or all the other goofy projects that I'm always tearing apart and hopefully trying to put back together, then consider giving me a subscribe. Those actions let me know that you like the video. They let YouTube know that you want to stay here. And they make me feel good. They make me feel like I'm helping people. So Thank you for watching my video, and I'll see you guys on the next one.